Hi, this is Mike Newsom with LR Bags here at the 2025 NAMM show. We are celebrating 50 years of business this year, so super excited about that. And to bring our company full circle to where it all began with Lewitt Bags as a luthier building guitars, we are introducing our very first branded LR Bags Acoustic Electric Guitar. We launched this back in October, and we are super pleased with how it's doing. So let me get into some of the details of why we made this guitar and what it does well. So we're mainly known as a pickup company, and we also make DI boxes, preamplifiers for acoustic instruments. That's kind of our bread and butter. But where it all started was Lewitt built guitars back in the 70s and early 80s, and some of his clients were Ry Cooder, Jackson Brown, Janician, and Graham Nash, some jazz players, collectors, just a really cool group of people. But his whole thing was, how do I get my guitars to be amplified on stage? He wanted to work with the artists. So I won't go into all the story of how it all happened, but essentially he pivoted into acoustic amplification. But all along the way has always been interested in guitars and acoustic electric guitars in particular. So this is the internal structure of the LR Bags guitar. And what makes this guitar so unique and what makes it work so well is this integrated neck support system. If you see here, it mounts to the sidewalls of the guitar. And what that does is it relieves the back, so it doesn't actually have to hold the neck in place. On a standard acoustic guitar, the neck is really there to support, the back is really there to support the neck. But with this design, we're able to tune the back and the top separately from supporting the neck, kind of like you would tune a drum, you know, the top head and the bottom to work together. We're able to do that with this guitar to get a much fuller frequency response than you would get from a guitar that's 2.5 inches thick. So that's really the whole magic behind this design. And because of that, it sounds good acoustically, which is not normal for a thin body guitar. And because it sounds good acoustically, we decided to put our new and best sounding system, the Hi-Fi Duet, and we custom voiced it for our guitar. So the nice thing about building your own guitar is you can control how the electronics work with your guitar. And essentially the AEG-1 is our goal with this guitar is to have basically a really easy way to sound incredible live. So you don't have to fuss with much, you don't have to do as much EQ, you're not gonna have to worry about feedback. So essentially you just plug in and it sounds great. That's easier with electric guitar, and it's been a really, really important part for our company to get closer and closer to just being able to plug in and enjoy your performance. The nice thing about being a pickup and amplification company is, like I was saying before, we get to control how the guitar and the pickup system work together. So, like I was saying, this system is the Hi-Fi Duet, which we just also launched simultaneously with this guitar. The controls here on the side, pretty simple. Volume. The one that says mic is a mix control that blends between the Hi-Fi bridge plate pickups and the new silo microphone that sits right between them on the bridge plate. And then a tone control that just helps you pull back or increase high frequency content depending on the situation that you're playing in. And then lastly, a phase inversion. And lastly, almost forgot, a battery check. We could not be happier with the plugged-in sound with this. But being a new guitar company, we didn't know who was going to be out playing this, even in the beta testing stage. And we were fortunate that Molly Tuttle jumped on board really early on to help us develop this. So she's been out touring with it since last spring. And what I found with her and talking to her tech and talking to her is she's using it for a specific technique, which is a claw hammer technique that she uses. And what she was telling me is that she can get away with a lot more low end with this guitar than she can with the standard acoustic. It's a lot easier for them to bring it in the mix when she's playing loud volumes with a bunch of different people on stage. So the funny thing is, I wasn't expecting it, but she's able to get more low end out of a thin body guitar live than she can with her full body guitar. We introduced this in 3 different models. We have the natural, which is an Engelmann spruce top. We have a torrefied Sitka, and we have a regular Sitka with a sunburst finish. They all sound unique, and even within their own different models, each guitar has its own character to it, but goes through a pretty rigorous testing process, so everything we send out the door passes our approval. We've been installing the electronics and dialing it in ourselves at the shop currently. So far so good. We've sold quite a few, and we never really saw ourselves as a guitar company, but we've always had that kind of inherent in our business, the knowledge, the mechanics, understanding how to amplify them. So really excited to launch this product, and we'll see where it takes us.